Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have both Mr. Rick Napolitano and Ms. Emily Meadows from the county's OIT program. Rick is, of course, Chief Digital Officer, and Emily is the Public Safety Portfolio Manager. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Very good.
So we have a new system in place now called CAD. What's CAD stand for?
Computer Aided Dispatch.
Tell us some features about this new system.
So the new system, it's completely mapping based. Basically what that means is our call takers and dispatchers are able to pinpoint the exact location of a call.
Nice.
That means we can get our first responders there more accurately, faster. We also have a web-based solution which allows our first responders access to the system from any location. Part of the mapping piece is an AVL solution. It's automated vehicle locator. And that really allows us to get first responders there faster because we know the location of the units they're riding on for our fire and our EMS units.
Wow.
Which is a really great feature.
Definitely an upgrade.
Absolutely.
To say the least.
Absolutely.
And real quick, I'm sorry, Kristen, what was it before that, like some of those things you mentioned, like how did it work before?
It wasn't mapping based.
Okay.
So we had streets in there, we knew street ranges, but now we're getting mapping data from the county geospatial group. So we know the roads in the county, their real addresses.
So it's like ADC Maps versus Google Maps.
Essentially, but the county has a group that maintains that information for the county.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
They are great.
Yeah, they're great.
So years ago, the county abandoned a $7 million CAD system. Tell us about how this one is cheaper but better.
Yeah, so that system that you're referring to, it was part of a large public safety initiative. CAD was one component of that, and the CAD application during that program, it just did not meet the needs of the county or the public safety individuals. This new solution, it's an upgrade. So all of our tailored functionality that we had in our pre-existing system came forward with our new system. We also had easier data migration, which helped with saving money as well as easier training because it was just an upgrade.
Yeah, saved $5 million and got more capabilities.
Yes.
We like that.
We like that.
Absolutely.
We like that.
That's good. So Rick, tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that we were trying to solve along the way. I know part of it was that the software we were using was so old that was it DOS-based or COBOL, or what do you call the language?
There actually were DOS-based components of it, green screens, little green screens. Before I do, I want to take a minute and just let you know that Emily is very modest, so she could never say this herself, but a major reason for our success was because Emily.
Thank you.
Emily.
Not surprised, not
I'm telling you,
surprised.
we had some real strong team members across.
Absolutely.
Frank Toohey was a big pull, and then we had Brian from the fire side. Every successful project takes a team, takes good people. So we want to acknowledge all of those people, both in the police side and the fire side and the IT side. And within those people, there are team leads, and Emily did an excellent job building the culture and sticking to the task. It was not an easy program. We started out, we had a date. We actually are a little bit longer than we had planned originally to field. But the reason was we changed some scope as we were going. And so we knew that we had written some things down and said, this is the way we want it. When we got there, we said, well, maybe not exactly like that. And so we changed. That caused some slips in time. It didn't cost us any extra money because we had a kind of a fixed price agreement with the vendor. So anyway, I want to make sure that it's known.
But we
That's
used
so
to have
sweet.
we used to have this computer terminal in the server room, right? And the legend was that if that computer goes down, we don't have CAD anymore.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know how true that was, but that was and I've seen this computer. It had
I'm
the
imagining some like Atari
it looked
80s
like a,
based.
It looked like that. It had like the green screen.
Like a joystick
with
is used to operate it.
Yeah.
Am I that far off?
Actually, you're not that far off.
Okay.
And while we're commending people, we need to commend our 911 call takers and dispatchers.
Yeah.
Because they have been working with that for a long time. And when you watch them work, they're amazing people. They had all the shortcuts down. They'd worked around all the problems. And so for them, this technology switch was a huge change. And so when you can imagine an emergency call comes in, and you know there's pressure. I mean, somebody needs medicine, somebody needs a heart attack, you got to get people out there. You're trying to coordinate different people, and they went through this transition and the learning curve to the new system. Just their attitudes were great, their willingness to participate was great. Of course, our intent was to get them new tools that were helpful. And so just we want to make sure and acknowledge the call operators and the dispatchers. They did a tremendous job.
Well, even with learning it, I'm guessing now the end result has been they're just so pleased to have this
They
in
are.
place now. It's
They are. We've
more
gone-
efficient.
Yeah.
You don't have F8 anymore. F8's like completely gone now, right?
Right. We have gone around. We do follow-up checks with them just to make sure. There is still the learning curve, but in all, they're pleased. And so we just, it's still on the learning curve, but they are very pleased with the tools.
You guys should be really proud. I mean,
Yeah, we are.
seriously,
We are.
you can't underestimate what you guys did.
Right.
It was a big deal.
Your question, that system was put in there 2 decades ago. And so, yes, it's had minor upgrades along the way. So it was a huge change. We were a little worried, as you mentioned, for the last failure. So we're quite pleased right now. And this is the first of 3 or 4 other major system rollouts that we're going to have. So we're kind of glad it went well.
Yeah, and that was the last system we're talking about 6, 7 years ago. So it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Rick, tell us a little bit. One of the things that fascinates me about my job, actually about your job, a lot of things fascinate me about my job, but about your job is 2 things. One is how you guys get different systems to talk to each other, some of which are from the ice ages, and the new ones are app-based, and they do all these things, and I don't know how the heck. Something called APIs, apparently I've learned a little bit, helps
Yes,
them
very
talk to
good.
each other. But when you're getting ready to buy a big system like this, and you're a government agency, it must be so hard to get it right, because I've been around county government long enough that I've seen these things are big, they're expensive, the company promises everything in the world, you pay this big price, and then a year later, the technology's gone, the
Right.
company's gone, you got to pay somebody to reprogram for what you need. It's a hard decision to make. So how do you know you're picking the right thing?
That is an excellent question. And I'm not sure we have a good answer to it. We do.
You
put a
ask
lot-
Siri.
That's right. we do put a lot of energy into it. First of all, we start with a gap analysis, and the gap analysis helps us define really what it is that we want to perform. I will say, and this is a difficulty that's new to me, buying stuff through the county is a difficult process. You're stuck to an RFP process, so the new commercial ways to buy are much more inventive and innovative and give you more flexibility. So your point is, it is a challenge.
What's gap? What does gap mean?
Gap analysis generally says, here's what the thing does today, here's what I want to do tomorrow, where are the gaps and what do we need to fill in the middle? So then we'll work through that process, and once we get that process, we will bring in vendors. Hopefully we select the good vendors. Almost everything has to be relationally based nowadays. Things change so frequently. So there's no easy answer. We are cautious. We like to move quickly and have effect. There are some benefit now because technology has leapfrogged so much that some of the challenges, the vendors recognize all of these challenges, and so they're more flexible. The API that you mentioned is just an application interface that allows you to say, if I've got system 1 and I have system 2, let's automate how they talk to each other, so there's some standards that make that happen. We have a good team internally with our software development team with Jack Martin. They really, last year you and I talked, they released a new award-winning website, and they have built a lot of...
Fantastic website.
Really
we have
well
the
done.
best website.
It's
No
got-
question. No, we do. We do, Kristen. It's not funny. We do.
Sorry,
It's the
I'm
best.
just saying it's a little easy to toot your own horn.
Yeah,
Dave,
right,
when
I know.
you
Well, I didn't,
Well,
like
it's
Rick said, it's a
award-winning.
team. Yeah, it was a team. I didn't do any APIs, okay? I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay.
I did, is that color? We did a different color, it's like that.
Right.
Anyway, we do have a very strong development team, and what we like to do is kind of focus on a best-of-breed model, which means we go buy the best tool, all the areas, and then we link them together the best we can with interfaces. And so it's a challenge. We've got a very strong team. County exec's been very good about changing the bonds from 20 to 30 years, so he's gotten us some money up front, which has been extremely helpful. We wouldn't be in this place if he hadn't made that available for us.
And most importantly, all the citizens and the police officers and the firefighters and paramedics, all they care about is that it's safer. And it is absolutely safer because when they're responding to a call, you need to know where they are in that building.
Right.
And we didn't know that before. I mean,
Right.
once they went into that building, we don't know where they are,
Right.
aside from like old tactics to, everybody's holding a rope.
Right.
So you know where everybody is. But it's going to keep people safer. So.
I think it's a good time to, both Chief Altamari and Chief Graves have been wonderful to work with. They are very dear to their teams, and they want to give them the best tools. And one of the things that's worked out very well in this administration I don't have a history, so I don't know how it was in the past, but there is excellent collaboration between the teams. And you can't work well and you can't be successful if you don't have that. And I think we have
Absolutely.
it in spades, and I want to salute them for the job they've done.
Shout out to the Chiefs.
Yep.
Well, we really appreciate all the hard work that you and your team has done for the county. Thank you for keeping us up to date,
course.
running efficient, keeping us safe. And make sure you come back on Week in Review, give us any updates whenever you have the chance. So.
As long as they're successful, we're happy to come back.
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere.